Mark survived the war, but he just accepted the most dangerous Trojan horse in human history. The Viltrumites are now his neighbors. And Thragg? He came to Earth with dozens of soldiers, and they're here to stay. The war is over, but Mark's nightmare just got a new address. Meanwhile, Debbie went to space with Nolan after a heavy confession, and Robot and Monster Girl are still trapped in a dimension where time is the biggest enemy. Let's talk about all of this and the future of Invincible. Is Thragg really going to silently exterminate the human race? Come with me. Episode 8 of Invincible's 4th season hit Prime Video, and wow, what a finale. The title is Don't Leave Me Hanging Here, and it makes perfect sense in the last minute. It's a different kind of closure. No giant battles or exploding villains. That was saved for the absolute cinema that was episode 7. Here, the focus is on emotion, trauma, and decisions that change the show's status quo. This episode mainly adapts comic issues 77 and 78, but it's already setting up hooks for 79. There's a lot from the comics to contextualize, but first, drop your comment down below. Were you expecting such a psychologically focused finale, or did you want more action?
Debbie and Paul. Alright, before we talk about Thragg and the other Viltrumites invading Earth, I want to talk about Debbie, because her arc in this episode is super important, and will define a lot of what the show does in Season 5. The show confirms what we already suspected. Debbie and Paul broke up. But unlike the comics, where Paul is written out of the story for being kind of an annoying jerk, the show made a different choice. The show's Paul has always been a genuinely good guy. Everyone in the family loves him, right? He did everything right. So their breakup doesn't happen because he did something wrong. It happens because their lives are just too different, you know? Simple as that. There's no villain in this story here. There's no point in trying to find someone to blame. That's some mature writing, by the way, right? Because real life works exactly like that. There isn't always someone to blame for everything. Even when two good people like each other, sometimes they just aren't compatible. Paul is actually the one who encourages Debbie to go see Oliver. That's an important detail, because in the comics, Debbie's decision has a different motivation. In the show, it was her own ex who said go, and she went. But is Debbie leaving Earth for good? No, not yet. But she's going with Nolan to be by Oliver's side while he recovers from the beating he took from Thragg in episode 7. Man, Thragg messed him up, didn't he? So Debbie goes, and she goes with all her heart. But there's a detail you gotta understand. Debbie still holds a massive grudge against Nolan. I mean, how could she not, guys? And the show made that very clear in several scenes. When he arrives on Earth looking for a second chance, she is straightforward with him the whole time. She tells him he doesn't deserve anything. And that's the general feeling, you know? Art was terrified of him earlier. Cecil said he'd have to almost die over 2,000 times before they could even start talking about redemption. And man, that makes sense. It's hard for him to bounce back from that.
But at the same time, Debbie knows he's changed. You can tell he's changed, man. We see it. This is so awesome. This is as emotional as it gets. And Nolan is truly trying to be better. Do you notice that? If he didn't want this, he would have just shaken Thragg's hand and betrayed the coalition of planets. It would have been way easier for him, right? In the beginning, Nolan was pissed off, thinking people just had to forgive him, that they were obligated to forgive him. But now he understands it's going to take time, and that he deserves all the contempt he's going to get in the process. There's also a really cool scene in this episode where he's about to put his hand on her shoulder while they're both looking at Earth from space, and he stops. He holds back. He knows he doesn't have that right yet, you know? Their relationship is complicated, and it's going to be very important in Season 5. In the comics, they end up reconnecting much faster. Even before leaving Earth, they're already kind of cool with each other. Robert Kirkman, the creator, does that a bit in the comics. Things happen really fast there. So I think the show's choice to have this forgiveness come with time is better. It's the idea of a fresh start, you know? All of this is important.
Monster Girl and Robot. Now for the most tense arc. Cecil attempts a rescue mission into the Flaxen dimension, but the portal brings back something terrible, and he shuts the operation down. Robot and Monster Girl are abandoned, and anyone who's read the comics knows this trip is going to change Robot in ways that will seriously divide your opinions next season. I'm already prepping a dedicated video just to explain what happens to them in there,
So subscribe and hit that notification bell right now so you don't miss that full breakdown. Guys, I know waiting until 2027 for Season 5 feels like an absolute eternity. But look, the secret to skipping the wait is going straight to the source. I've linked the Invincible compendiums right here in our YouTube shopping shelf and the first link in the description. This is the most epic way to read the entire story. If you want to find out exactly what Robot does next, or how the Thragg era ends without waiting years, just click the link. Not only do you get the ultimate collection, but you're also supporting the channel, so we can keep bringing you these deep dives.
Mark's fear and the Viltrumites on Earth. Since the very beginning, Mark has feared a Viltrumite's invasion. After seeing Thragg destroy Oliver and Nolan, that fear turned into PTSD. His hallucinations in the middle of the street show that the series isn't afraid to tackle the hero's mental health. And the fear is totally justified. In his meeting with Thragg, the truth comes out. There are only 37 Viltrumites left. The plan? Infiltrate Earth, breed with humans, and rebuild their race. Why humans? Because our DNA is compatible, to the point of creating almost pure-blooded hybrids, like Mark. Thragg doesn't want war right now because he can't afford to lose another soldier. He prefers a silent victory. In a few generations, human DNA will be diluted until it disappears, and Earth will be a new Viltrumite home, without a single shot being fired. And I gotta say, the show's Thragg seems even more intimidating than the one in the comics. I'll bring you proof of that soon, so stay tuned to the channel. Sophie's choice. Mark is in a dead end. Either he accepts the Viltrumites living right next door, or Thragg wipes out humanity right now. In the comics, Nolan helps him with this decision, but in the show, Mark is carrying this weight all by himself. That changes everything, especially his relationship with Alan and the Scourge virus that Thetis left behind. If Alan finds out the enemies are on Earth, the conflict will be unavoidable.
Eve and Mark. Eve confessed about the abortion. It wasn't because of her powers. It was out of fear of raising a child in a world constantly at war. That's a deep pain that the show handled with a lot of weight. They worked things out, but the trauma remains. In the comics, this is debated more deeply at a dinner at Immortal and Duplicate's house, something I believe we'll see in Season 5, along with the introduction of Bulletproof into Invincible Inc. In fact, this is the phase in the comics where Bulletproof actually becomes invincible for a while in issue 89. What's next? This Season 4 finale did a very specific thing. It closes out the Viltrumite War as an event, but opens up a new fear that's much harder to fight. Because before, Mark knew where the danger was coming from. Now, the danger is inside the house. The Viltrumites are on Earth in disguise, trying to rebuild their race, and Mark knows it, and he's carrying that burden alone. In the upcoming episodes, if the show follows the comics, we're going to get some serious family conflicts involving Oliver and Mark. We'll have rising tension with Nolan and the Coalition of Planets, because Nolan now has information about the enhanced Scourge virus, and he'll have to make a decision against the Viltrumites on Earth. And we're going to get the return of Robot and Monster Girl from the Flaxen dimension, which will change the course of the story.
What I can spoil for you here, which is just a minor spoiler, is that next season won't focus on the Viltrumite threat for very long. There are going to be new storylines. Of course, the Viltrumites are still the main threat in Invincible, obviously, but there will be other problems. Dinosaurus is going to return. Universa, Powerplex, there's a lot more going on. Season 5 should arrive in 2027, and the landscape has changed. The danger now lives next door. But what about you? What would you do in Mark's place? Would you accept Thragg's terms to buy some time, or risk the extinction of humanity in a lost war right now? Did Mark make the right call? I really want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, before you go, if you want to level up your setup with some Invincible gear, check out the collectibles I've handpicked in the channel store window right here. There are some Omni-Man and Mark Funko Pops that look absolutely sick. Thanks everyone, you guys are the best. Stay awesome, and I'm out. Peace.